You can run, but you can't hide. You can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. You can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide.
Good people, good people. What it do? Friday night, 9 p.m. It's your boy Cool McCann, top of the key. Over here joined on the side by as always. Instrumental, the influential man with the plan when it comes to the basketball. Coach Dante. What's going on, Coach Dante?
Hey, what's good, man? What's good? Happy to be up here for another Friday with Top of the Key, man. Appreciate you, man. I'm ready to talk some basketball, man. Playoff seeding is getting amped up, so I'm just ready, man. Let's do it.
You already know. And Key, what's going on in the comments already? Appreciate you hopping in with us, riding with us from the beginning. So you know me, man. I love to start off with those NBA standings. So, as we know, it's been a slight shift in the Eastern Conference with the top seed. We have, and let's take a bit to come up here because I needed to come up. So, of course, it wants to do that to your boy. But we know that we have a little switch there. We have the Milwaukee Bucks, who are now in first in the Eastern Conference. You know, Boston still a solid second, not that far behind. Milwaukee's kind of taking over that top spot. And just to go through those with you here real quick, we got the Bucks coming into the night at 45-17, 16-game winning streak. We got the Celtics in second place, 45-18 in the Eastern Conference. Um, 1 game win streak, 8-2 in their last 10. Of course, 16-game win streak, 10 over your last 10 games. Philadelphia 76ers at third at 40-22, 6-4 in their last 10. They lost their last game. Cleveland Cavaliers 39-26 in fourth place, 6-4 in their last 10 as well. Lost one. And the surge in New York Knicks 37-27, 9-1 in their last 10. They won 7 in a row. And then at 6, we have the Brooklyn Nets, 2-8 in their last 10. 4-game losing streak starting to slide down a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and get right. We'll go ahead and include 7 through 10 as well, because you know what? The playing is happening whether we like it or not. It's happening.
Yep. So I don't like it though.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, I'm fine with it, but if it was gone, I wouldn't miss it at all.
Yeah.
Pretty much how I feel about it. So in seventh place, we got the Miami Heat at 33-10, 4-6 in their last 10. They on a 1-game losing streak. The Atlanta Hawks 31-31, 5-5 in their last 10 games, lost one. Very typical of the Atlanta Hawks, just straight 500 across the board.
Yep.
The Raptors 31-33, 7-3 in their last 10, a 1-game losing streak. And in 10th place, the Washington Wizards 30-32, 6-4 in their last 10. They're on a 2-game winning streak. So, any thoughts on those top 6, Coach Dante, as well as the teams that are currently scheduled to be in the play?
My thoughts on that. Miami is really struggling. There's some frustration going on when Jimmy Butler called out the team the other day, said he's tired of losing. So, you know, when Jimmy Butler gets tired of losing, I mean, we seen it in Minnesota. When he gets frustrated and players and gets tired of losing, we already see how that outcome happens. So he gets frustrated, he tells what's on his mind, and he gets tired of losing. You already know how is it gonna come. Again, the Brooklyn Nets, they're falling off the face of the earth. This team is not looking so good. They've been struggling with Mikal Bridges being in the lineup and Cam Johnson. I thought they got some really good pieces over there, but they're just really, really struggling right now. They can't put it all together. And if Miami can find a way to do something, put it together, I think Brooklyn will find themselves playing in the play-in tournament. And I've been really surprised the way Washington playing. been playing too. Kyle Kuzma has looked really good. He has looked really good, and Bradley Beal is coming on strong. So again, it's no surprise to me at the bottom edge. Of the bottom edge, Toronto, they're a sneaky okay team, but they're not good enough as of no more. I think this coming off season, there you can see some movement in Toronto with Jakob Hurdle
Yep.
them. So I'm not gonna be surprised that you see some movement for them off season, and Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby. So everything is about right with it. Well, except Miami. Miami's probably the most disappointing in the top seven. They probably the most disappointing team in that top seven. New York Knicks been really good. They are undefeated since Josh Hart has been playing basketball. They're 7-0 since he's been playing. Y'all take that in regard. I know some people probably didn't know that, but they are 7-0 since he joined that team, and he provided a spark for that team. Good defense, great, solid shooter. Him and Jalen Brunson, Villanova guys, got part of a winning program. Tom Thibodeau preaches defensive really well. That's how they've been playing. But again, I think that's the hottest team right there. But outside of the Bucks in that top five, but would I say they win a playoff series? They have opportunity to beat Cleveland in the playoff series. That should be a good series, 7-game series. If that series holds up.
Hey, it makes a lot of sense to me. And yes, Anthony Price, the 2023 Wizards are in the plan as we speak. I was looking at it earlier and I was like, refresh.
Yeah.
Sure, like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, hey, they there, man. They there.
Yep.
That says a lot about their ability to withstand everything because they've had some injuries, trades, different things. But when you stick together as a team, man, and you have Bradley Beal back, that
Yep.
also helps. And then Kuzma's gets to be that natural, like, second option that I think he's
Mhm.
much better at than being the top guy. So I think that's a team to definitely watch out for. I
Yep.
completely agree with you that I can see Brooklyn not even being seventh, but falling to like eighth or ninth.
Yep.
You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Because they are, you know what I'm saying? They are on a free fall to the bottom. I mean, but when you lose Durant and Kyrie, you're gonna
Yeah.
have that happen. You know what I'm saying? It's too much talent that you're losing, and the main things you got back was Cam Johnson,
Mhm.
whatever. You got Payne, but you also did not um, get back like another dominant score. You got back draft picks, so you
Yeah.
set yourself up for the future. But right now, yeah, I mean you'll make the playoffs like you said, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely gonna be. I think the
It
play
ain't
in.
going. I don't think it's going to end too well for Brooklyn. I think they will find a way to make a play-in tournament. But the only way they're going to keep that sixth spot if Miami continue to falter, or some other team just randomly jump up and get hot and surpass them. But it's not a pretty good ending of the season for the Brooklyn Nets. 10-2, 10-2, 10-2. Pretty much they win. They win the first ball game against Philadelphia. So they went cold for that last 4 minutes, but then again you get blown out by 50 against Chicago. That's not really really a good look. Did two blowouts in the late 2 week, two blowouts in the middle of this week against New York. That's not a really one before the All-Star break. I mean, and one this week. That's not really too good. So
Yep.
they're not even competing in most of these games. So they look really bad as a team. And the top. There's no surprise at the top. No really surprise at the top.
No, it's not. There's three teams that I feel like are better than everybody else in the East. And they're 1, 2, and 3. You know what I'm saying? Um, what I do want to keep an eye on is Quinn Snyder's effect on the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
Right? I
Yep.
want to know. I want to see 5, 10 games from now what the Hawks are doing, because the Hawks could be that team that you're talking about that hops up and gets that 6th seed.
Yep.
Maybe the 5th seed, because Cleveland's not looking as solid as they were, a month ago
Yep.
to be that number 4 either. So I think New York can end up with that 4th. Atlanta might end up with that 5th. And
Yep.
Cleveland might end up, 5th or 6th. I still think they'll be in that top 6, but they may not be. They're not headed upward. Like you got some teams that are headed upward, you got some teams that are steady, and some teams that are kind of going down a little bit. I think you got all
Yep.
three of them when you look at Cleveland, New York, the Knicks, Brooklyn, Miami, and Atlanta. So I think Atlanta's the team for me to watch just because I'm interested in how much Quinn Snyder can get an imprint or footprint on this team with the short amount of time that he has. But definitely, I think that change was best for everyone because
Mm-hmm.
they didn't want him anymore, right? They didn't
Yep.
want their coach. They didn't want Nate McMillan anymore because he couldn't get along with Trey,
Yep.
the coach killer now. So we're gonna see if he can kill Quinn Snyder too.
Yeah, Atlanta is interesting, man. At the trade deadline, I really like the Sadiq Bey addition that they did get. I really thought he helped. He was going to bring them some defensive and shooting, but they got to be more consistent. I want to at least see them get off 5 in a row. I want to at
Yeah.
least see that this team is good. This team has the talent. Adding Murray, who can really play great defense and who's probably having his best 3-point shooting year. He's not known for shooting ability, but he is able to knock down some big threes in clutch moment situations. But I want to see them get hot. And Quinn Snyder, he's someone that's a really good defensive minded head coach and that has some playoff experience as well. He was leading. He was the one straighten up that Utah organization when they were
Yep.
down bad right after Darren Williams left. He got that organization back together. So it'll be an interesting see what Quinn Snyder does. And Trae Young, he has to be the man for the Atlanta Hawks. If the Atlanta Hawks wants to go place, he has to be the best player, but he's got to also have great efficiency. He doesn't shoot the ball. He doesn't shoot the ball well. He has too many. He's going to get his points. He's going to get assists, but inefficient nights is not what you want to have. You gotta have it on some certain efficiency, and he got to take better shots. He's got to definitely take better shots. He doesn't take great shots. He's not a great shot selector. So I'm just going to be definitely interested, like you said, what Quinn Snyder could do with this team. Can he get the best out of Trae Young in this team right here?
Yeah, I think you got talent for days, like you said.
Yes.
You didn't move John Collins, but he's a piece you could use since he's there, right?
Yep.
And there's a lot that you could do, but at the same time, man, you still have to do what needs to be done on the
Yep.
actual field. And that's the important part. I think they can definitely make that difference. I think that change in leadership should be positive for them, but we'll see how that works out. But that's definitely, if I'm looking at any team in the East and I'm like, let me see what they're gonna do.
Yep.
That's the one that I'm curious about. Now, when we head over to the Western Conference, we'll go through the same thing. Top 6, we got Denver Nuggets, 44-19, 7-3 in their last 10, 2-game winning streak. We got Memphis, 38-23. They are 6-4 in their last 10 games, a 3-game winning streak for them. Sacramento Kings, 36-25, 7-3 in their last 10. They're on a 4-game winning streak. Phoenix Suns, 34-29, 7-3 in their last 10. And they're on a 1-game winning streak. Golden State Warriors, big movers this week, 6-4 in their last 10 games. They've won 4 in a row. And then in 6th place, we have the Dallas Mavericks at 33-31, 5-5 in their last 10, and they've won 1. And then at 7th, we got the LA Clippers, 4-6 in their last 10. They've lost 4 in a row. Minnesota Timberwolves at 32-32. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They've lost 1 in a row. Utah Jazz 31-32, 4-6 in their last 10. They've lost 1 in a row. And then the Pelicans at 31-32, 5-5 in their last 10. They've lost 1 in a row. Excuse me, 1-1 in a row. And then when we get outside, we got a couple more teams that you want to look at. The Lakers are up to 11th at 30-33. Trailblazers are 12th at 29-33. And then the Oklahoma City Thunder are 13th at 28-34. And I just throw those in there because they're so close.
They're still in.
Yeah, that you gotta add them. They're like a game, 2.5 games out.
Yeah. Well, it feel like the Lakers been playing chase all year long. It just feel like they've been playing chasing all year long. So the interesting part, I think the Clippers are now playing a tournament team. I don't think they're a playoff team anymore. So I backtrack all my statements that I previously made and think they can be a dangerous team. I didn't fell off that wagon. Assuming the way they look, it's not a good look. They're 0-4 since they got Russell Westbrook. They're 0-4. They got too many guys on the bench. You have to play. You have to that one or too much play. Too many guys on the bench. I mean, far as Bones Highland. You got Eric Gordon. So you got to find minutes up in between that. If you're Coach Tyronn Lue, you got to figure out who you want to give minutes to. Norman Powell's been really good this year, shooting 42% from the 3-point line, averaging 17 points per game. He's been your most consistent scorer off your bench. You're playing Mason Plumlee a lot more than you play Zubac a lot. So you got rotational pieces that Tyronn Lewis look like that he's figuring out who should I play in this situation, who should I play. Look like that's too many guys on that bench They can go to some other contending team or playoff team that can play. That just will have rotational minutes. Eric Gordon not getting the minutes that he used to getting. So and Russell Westbrook wasn't happy against Denver. How well he had to sit on the bench. How well he had to sit on the bench. So this team now, I don't. They're not a good enough team. They're not going to be a good enough team, man. I just backtracked my statement off saying they could be really a borderline Western Conference team. Just too many guys, man. Too many guys that you have to figure out rotation minutes and those rotation minutes. And if you do make a play in tournament, make the playoffs, some of them rotation minutes have to cut short. Some of them guys not going to be happy with their rotational minutes, so they're going to be a playoff tournament team. They're not going to make play. I think the Mavericks will get that sixth and final spot, even though they have not looked good either since the addition of Kyrie. But I don't like the way the Clippers are playing and the rotations every game. It's just been flip flopping. One game Bones Holland will play, one game he doesn't play. One game you get Mason Plumlee more minutes than you got Zubac, who actually plays well when he's on the court. So too many things going on with the Los Angeles Clippers.
So, Coach Dante, you mean to tell me that a guy that wanted out of Denver because he didn't get a lot of minutes, he was playing some games, not playing some games, and got traded to the Clippers, and now he's playing some games, not playing some games.
Mm.
Went from the top team to the Clippers, and then no knock on the Clippers, but like you said, they have too many combo guards, not
Yeah,
enough
yeah,
actual point
yeah,
guards,
yeah,
and Tyler don't know how to manage that. Ain't no
yeah.
coach that can
Too
manage
much to
that. And the thing
manage.
is, they had to pick up
Yep,
Rush. If they didn't
yep,
have Rush, they wouldn't have any real point guards.
yep. Too many of them to manage. Too many of the got those guys are used to playing so much, and in the rotation, there's too many guys. It's too many guys out there that need rotational minutes that's used to playing, and somebody is not going to really be at. Somebody's not going to be really be happy. That's out of that should be in the rotation. That's out of the rotation, or that used to be playing in the rotation. Is not going to be happy, and that's too many. And Bones Holland is a fall of that too as well. And Eric Gordon has been limited because Norman Powell's been playing so well. Now you got Plumlee coming in playing more minutes than Zubac. He's playing more minutes than him, which is I don't like at all. Zubac is when he actually on the floor, he's actually really good when he's actually
Yeah.
on the floor. And even though Kawhi Leonard been putting up a stretch of games, been good, but everybody else has been bad. Everybody else has been not been playing so much good basketball. So other than that, man, they're not a playoff. They're not a fringe playoff team, man. They just a playing team, and something is gonna be happening throughout the offseason or at some point with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I don't think these two can win together. Not saying they're not getting along with each other, but these two and this team, I don't think they'll be able to win together. There's just too many guys that you got to figure out how to plug in.
Yeah, that's a very good point you make. And then Anthony Price asks, is Westbrook coming off the bench or starting? He's starting because again, he's the only point guard on the roster. So if you
Yep.
don't start your only point guard, like it's really gonna be bad. But Westbrook's Westbrook. Like he's gonna turn the ball over. He's not gonna take some shots he should take. He's gonna make some bad decisions. But that's the player that you're getting at this point. If you don't expect that with him, then that's on you for picking him up.
Yep.
Um, what do you think about Golden State and them kind of moving up? They've been kind of slow, sneakily climbing here, but they're already up in the top 5 now.
I like him. I think Curry got it. The one thing concerned Curry. If Curry can stay healthy, I think this team is really dangerous. I think this team is dangerous if Curry can stay healthy. This team, I wasn't off the train of the Golden State Warriors. I expected them to get on a little bit of a mini run, but if Curry is close to coming back, he is very close to coming back. So if he comes back healthy and can stay on the floor, I think this Warriors team can put up a final run. And any regardless they stay in the 5th seed, third they can have a chance to get the 3rd seed. They have a chance to surpass the Sacramento Kings. So if they get up in there, that could be a tough matchup, man. That can be a tough matchup for anybody that they definitely play. So it's all when Curry, if they can hold the fort down enough to Curry to come back to play, they'll be fine. I think the Warriors will be fine. They'll be absolutely fine.
Agreed. And we have joining us now, Mr. Wire to Wire himself, Mean Gene. What's going
What's
on,
up?
man?
What's popping? What's popping?
Chilling, man. Just talking a little bit about the State of the Union. standings. We talking about teams. We're specifically discussing Golden State, and I'm sure you want to hop in with some comments there. But just Golden State's kind of making a move in the Western Conference now, moving up the standings, and our thoughts on that. And Anthony Price
Steph
says the
Curry's
same
coming
story
back
as
too.
last year. Yes, sir.
Steph Curry is coming back too. So I mean, the Warriors are legit. They're defending champions for a reason. I said this a few weeks ago on the podcast. They're going to be there when it at the end. I think as Warriors, Phoenix in the Western Conference Finals. I've been very adamant about that since the KD trade. So, I mean, the Warriors are deep, and people don't realize how deep that team is. They have so many great players on that team, and it's just I feel like with them, it almost comes down to motivation, right? Like you just win the world championship, come back the next year, and it's just a regular season game, and they start very sluggish. But when they start getting their groove together and they start playing, I feel like that Warriors team is always going to be there. They're stacked top to bottom.
Hey, you have to acknowledge the fact that we know which team is the defending champs. That's the Warriors. They're going to be there in some way, somehow, near the end. If the season were ended today, we got a 4-5 matchup between them and Phoenix. For me, I've been adamant about this since the Kevin Durant trade, since before the Kevin Durant trade. Phoenix's issue to me is defense. Can they put up points with anybody? Absolutely. But can they stop a cup of water if they need to once we get into the playoffs? That's the question for me. I think they have one of the best scorers in the league, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, who not going to give you a lot on defense, but he's going to definitely put the ball in the basket for you. I think you got an aging but still solid Chris Paul, right? You got some pieces on that bench as well. DeAndre Ayton to me is every 2 or 3 games he'll show up, give you a good game. Nowhere near consistency. One game he might dominate, the next game he's almost not there. He's almost a non-factor. I think there may be some problems with him and someone in the front office or the coaching staff or whatever that situation is. But can they, get hot, play well, and make a run? Absolutely. I mean, if you don't at least give them the possibility, are you really watching basketball? You add Kevin Durant to that team, and obviously it's going to make the team better offensively. But like I said, for me, it's what they can do defensively is my question.
I don't know where we get off acting like the Suns are not a good defensive team. Like they have 4 guys on that team that are plus defenders. I know that's the narrative around the Suns right now because you got to figure out a way why you don't want to put them in the finals because they have the most loaded roster in the West, but it's not a real narrative. They can play defense.
But are they playing defense on a regular basis? And I say no, because I've seen several games where they haven't. So they can have 4+ defenders, but they're allowing other teams to do what they want to do on them.
When the games matter and the going gets tough, the Suns will be playing defense. I don't think there'll be any issue with that. Okay, I think it's the Suns and the Golden State Warriors.
Hey, I mean, if the Suns can go out there and outshoot everybody for a whole series, then absolutely they have a great chance. But like I said, I'm not trusting them defensively. Can they do it? Sure. Can anybody do it? Absolutely. If they decide to pull it together and have desire on both sides of the ball. Biggest thing to me when I look at the Suns is desire. And maybe that does step up when they get to the playoffs. But, I mean, we can only judge them on what we've seen so far. We're not at the playoffs yet. They turn it on in the playoffs and they become a great defensive team. Cool. But they're not showing me that right now. The eye test is not showing me that.
I mean, the eye test is cute, but they're 9th in the league in defense.
Yeah, stats are cute, but eye test tells me a lot. I trust my eye test. It's never failed me. So, any other teams in the top 10, Gene, in the West that you'd like to have any thoughts on?
I mean, I'm so glad that you said top 10 I'm so glad that you said top 10 because I honestly really don't want to talk about the stinking 11 seed that keeps getting brought up. The team that's
We're
always
talking
on the
about people that
outside.
can actually.
Yeah. No, I mean, in reality, I think that, and right now, if the playoffs start today, it would be a real bad for the NBA because the best two teams would be playing each other in the 4 or 5 seed. Memphis is falling apart. I think Sacramento will eventually fade. I've said that for all year. I think by the time the playoffs start, they'll be a 5 or 6 seed. And I think they're an early exit, a 4-1 exit. I think Memphis is already fading. The whole thing with John Morant going down. He's not mature, man. I love John Morant, but the shit that keeps coming out about John Morant, like you can't be an NBA superstar and deal with all that. And the Nuggets are Nuggets. The Nuggets are a very, very good team in the West. I think they're going to win a series or two. I just don't think they get past either the Suns or the Golden State Warriors. So the Clippers are a joke. Like, what do you want to talk about the Clippers for? They're a joke. Russell Westbrook just got laughed off the court last night. Golden State absolutely abused them. There's really only 3 teams in the West that are formidable, with Memphis being the 4th. And the 3 teams are Denver, who's the 1 seed, running away with the 1 seed, and they're going to have home court advantage, and then Phoenix and Golden State. Everybody else is irrelevant. The rest of the West stinks.
I can't argue with that's a fair assumption, fair statements on that. So I want to quickly touch on the New Orleans Pelicans. I really like the New Orleans team if Zion can get back healthy. I think if he can get back healthy, I don't think they can win a championship this year, but I think they can move up, and I think they can actually get in a series and possibly, depending on who they're playing, have a good opportunity to win or at least take a series to 7 games. I think missing Zion is important for that team because it's that second dominant player that they don't have. But I'm very impressed with even without him, New Orleans. Obviously, at one point they were a top 3 team, but they're still hanging in there and still have an opportunity to be in the at least the play-in right now. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Okay, Coach.
I think New Orleans. That was a big win, by the way, that they got in Portland. That was a huge win for them. They desperately needed that victory right there to stay in that 10th seed. But I think they're good enough. If they don't play without Zion, Brandon Ingram coming along strong. If he can be the man for the New Orleans Pelicans, along with him and CJ McCollum, I think they got enough. I think they got enough. I think they got enough to have an upset series. It depends on who they play in the first round. Herbert Jones was an All NBA defender, rookie defender last year. You need Trey Murphy to step up more. He's been on the downslide a lot lately. You need him to step up a lot more. Alvarado is hurt. They need him back. They need him back for the defensive purposes. And the guy that can play 90 feet and also shoot. But I think they're going to be fine. I just think playing tournament, I think they're going to do enough to stay in the float of that play-in tournament right there. Matt, if they get into the playoffs, what if they get into the playoffs or not? That remains to be seen. But I think right now they are a play-in team as of right now.
Same song, been around the world. Same song with the New Orleans Pelicans. Can Zion Williamson come back and play basketball? I don't know. Like, Coach, I know I love your joke with Chase Claypool. To me, it's funny. But, like, is Zion Williamson the NBA's version of Finding Nemo? Because, like, I don't understand. Like, every year, now he's progressing with his hamstring injury. Like, the man hasn't played 50 games ever. It's a joke, man. That team, BI dropped 40 the other night versus Portland. But they got such a stacked team. You remember this was the team I picked to come out of the West this year. They were my sleeper to come out of the West because I thought this was the year. Zion's in shape. He's ready.
And that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing.
And you just don't play. So at the end of the day, I love their roster. If you want to guarantee me health and give me 8 games down the stretch with their entire team to play cohesive together, I picked them to upset Memphis in the first round. Because they're better. Like, all around, they're just better. The problem is, like, listen to me. guarantee help. Who are you picking in a 7-game series? Them or Memphis?
I'm picking New Orleans.
And that's my point. Like Ja Morant, you got Ja and Jaren Jackson and Dylan Brooks, but you got B.I., C.J. McCollum, Zion Williamson, Grand Theft, Alvarado. I love that team. I think that team's stacked. The problem remains is the NBA's version of Finding Nemo. Zion Williamson can't get on the court. And he's progressing with his hamstring. All right, man. I'll believe it when I see it. I feel like he'll come back, play 7 or 8 games, and then be hurt again with something else. It's a joke, man. I'm devastated because I was all in on New Orleans this year.
Yeah, Kyle says Zion is a myth. Hey, so far he has been, man. He's definitely in what I like to call the street clothes brigade because he has him on quite a bit as well. You know, we talk about AD, but Zion, he's had his street clothes on more than AD in his career so far. So that's tough. But I mean, like for me, I think with Zion, the thing is you got to slim down some. Like Charles Barkley said, I said it before. It's hard to play with that much just muscle and meat together on your body. Like you got to slim it down a little bit. You got to get it at a size that doesn't preclude you to get injured so often. I think the biggest part with him is that. Like if he does that, he'll be a lot better. And hopefully, if he does decide to do that, we'll see him on the court and actually see what he can do to help his team win.
I mean, I guess. I mean,
like I don't even care about that.
He drives me nuts. Like that team is ready to win, and it's just like New Orleans used that first overall pick on him, and then they extended him, and the guy's done nothing. I'll tell you what, and I mean this when I say this. Outside of Greg Oden, has there been a bigger disappointment than Zion Williamson? And like when you think about that, and here's the reason why. You could have drafted Ja Morant. He was the second pick. Remember Greg Oden? Who was the second pick in the Greg Oden draft?
Kevin Durant.
KD.
Kevin Durant, yo.
You could have had KD. Now you look at Zion and you're like, damn, man, I wish we would have took Ja Morant. I don't know. It's embarrassing. It really is. And you talking about slim down so he doesn't hurt himself. My man is built. He is huge. Huge.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, but LeBron James has been that thick and strong his entire career.
Yeah,
I think it's something with taking care of yourself, if I'm being real with you.
Than LeBron, though, bro.
But the difference is this. LeBron James, Russell Wilson, and a couple others notably spend $1 million a year on putting their body in the right position. I think it's something about taking care of yourself. You can't keep having these soft tissue injuries. It's rolled ankles. It's hamstrings. It's all taking care of yourself. It's not having freak injuries cool.
No, I'm not saying that they're freak at all.
I know, but my point being is, like, I think it's more of just I think Zion Williamson is perfectly content being on a mid-rate team, playing 35 to 50 games a year, and getting paid. I don't think he's got that dog in him. I don't.
You think he's another Kyrie?
Closer to Kyrie than LeBron.
Okay. Fair enough.
Am I lying, Coach?
Nah, you're not lying.
It's frustrating. Because he's a talent, man. It's like when you see a talent like that in the NBA, you want to watch him play. Yep. I look forward to – bro, the New Orleans Pelicans played one game with their starting line, because Brandon Ingram started the season hurt. Have they played one game with their starting lineup this year?
I don't believe they have, because I think by the time B.I. got back, Zion
was hurt.
Yeah, I don't think they have.
And that's crazy to me.
They just had to swap them two out.
Can you imagine that roster fully loaded? Valanciunas, Zion, B.I., Grand Theft Alvarado, and McCullen. That's the best starting 5 in basketball.
It's a good starting 5.
If healthy. Let me just preface that by saying assuming health.
Fair enough. So, gentlemen, we had a couple of players that were added in the buyout market. I just want to get your thoughts on who you guys thought was the most, let's say, impactful add to their team. So I'll run down the list for you guys. So we had, of course, Russell Westbrook to the Clippers. We had Pat Bev to the Bulls. Kevin Love to the Miami Heat. Reggie Jackson to the Denver Nuggets. Terrence Ross to the Phoenix Suns. Justin Holiday to the Dallas Mavericks. Danny Green to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know we're not picking that one, but I'm just giving you the full list. Dwayne Dedman to the Philadelphia 76ers. That was some of the more impactful. So, what do you guys' thoughts? Who do you think was the most impactful ad?
I'm gonna go with Reggie Jackson to the Denver Nuggets.
I think Cool just wanted to hear us say the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, I was gonna go with I was gonna go with Pat Bell with the Chicago Bulls, but I'm gonna take actually Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson's really been helpful off of the bench for the Denver Nuggets for the first place team in the Western Conference. Really provide some good shooting, good defense as a guard for the Denver Nuggets. I think he's been the most impactful player. I wanted to go with Patrick Beverly, but I thought about Reggie Jackson. I forgot Reggie Jackson was even bought out.
I can tell you who the least impactful player was. And it's not Dwayne Dedman. It's not Kevin Love. Russell Westbrook joined your team. You go 0-4. We're 0-4 since the All-Star break. Did you watch the defense Golden State was playing on him the other night?
Yep. Draymond Green was inside the paint while the man was the only one by the 3-point line shooting.
Yo, that defense, I don't know if y'all have been to local courts. I don't know if you're familiar with this phrase. That's the he's with us defense. He's with us. We're playing against this team. The answer is Reggie Jackson, guys. So this is not. I think Cool will set this up to be a Nuggets question because he likes to hear the Nuggets. But like at the end of the day, the answer is Reggie Jackson. I don't think it's that close.
So I'm actually going a different direction, guys. I actually have two guys that I think they're role players, but I think that they make a big difference when teams are on. I'm going to go first with Terrence Ross from the Phoenix Suns. They just needed a little bit more depth on their bench, some 3-point shooting, and a guy that could kind of get that second unit right. So I think he's a guy that could fit in for some of the things that they need, and he'll play some defense, right? One of the things I said earlier was that they don't play a lot of defense, so I think he's a guy to do that. And I've been watching a couple of the Dallas Mavericks games, and I like the Justin Holiday pickup for them. He's a young guy, Drew Holiday's brother, plays hard, attacks the goal, fear of no one, has nothing to lose, and he has a little bit of that Drew in him. Like he just looks like no emotion. He just goes out there and makes a big play. So I like those ads. They're not going to have the same impact probably of a Reggie Jackson, but in their roles, I think that they're good pickups for their teams as well. So I did not pick this, Gene, just to hear you give props to the Denver Nuggets, sir.
Yeah, but your Nuggets deserve the props, man. You got one of the best coaches in basketball who I love. I think he's super underrated. I love me some Mike Malone. You guys have a very deep roster. You got one of the best facilitating big men we will ever see in the history of the game. That makes the right basketball play. And by the way, can I make a comment? I think you'll agree with this comment.
Even if I don't, have at it, sir.
You guys know me at this point. You guys listen to me talk enough. And I have no problem calling the race card out when I see it and calling something I view as not right.
Yeah.
Not right. What Kendrick Perkins did on ESPN is a fucking disgrace. It's a disgrace. Listen, and what it does is it really waters down when there's real, true racism going on in the world. And it's like he first went and said that Nikola Jokic, and listen, I'm not a Jokic fan. I've been called a Jokic hater on this show. But he first said that he was stat padding, and then JJ Redick said, Well, he's the most efficient player in the NBA. Like the stats say he makes the right play more than anyone else in the NBA. And then he got abused in that argument and absolutely destroyed, if you didn't watch it, by J.J. Redick.
He did.
Followed it up with saying there's only been 3 players since 1990 to win the MVP without being top 10 in points. And what do they all have in common? And it was Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, and Jokic if he wins this year. Well, you know how convenient that stat was? Cool. Do you know why he started in 1990? Because in 89-90, the MVP winner was Magic Johnson, who wasn't top 10 in scoring. He was 15.
Yep.
So you started the stat the year after Magic did exactly what you said? Come on, man. That's cherry picking. And it not only is it cherry picking, it's blasphemous. And what it does is, like, there's real, true racism in this world. And it waters down when shit like that actually happens. I think that there should be more of an outrage over what he said, because it's almost like you're using that to make an argument when in reality there's not an argument there. I don't think Jokic should be the MVP. That's my opinion. But I respect the hell out of what he's done. He's efficient. I've always had him top 3 in MVP voting the 2 years he's won it. I think he's accredited to be there. It's wrong. It's really wrong. And I hate to bring up a sore spot in the middle of a good topic, but that's bullshit, man. That really bothered me.
It did too. Like, again, how do you stat pad? Like, anyway, the fucking game is close. The game, they went into overtime with the damn Clippers. How the hell you stat pad on a man that's trying to do whatever it takes to help the team win if the game is close? How do you stat pad for a guy that's trying to do whatever it takes to help his team out and having an impact on this team, making every single play that he has to for the team, and the offense just running through him? How do you stat pad if the game is actually close and you're going into overtime and you just basically trying to help your team win? I don't really get that. He literally said that after he got those numbers against the Clippers, which, by the way, that went into overtime. That the game went into overtime and he got a steal and he had 17 rebounds in that game. That's crazy, bro. He's sipping on that purple syrup, like Cool
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you?
Anthony Price says,
"It's good." I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, G.
Did you hear this stat that what's the Denver Nuggets record when Nikola Jokic has a triple double?
Yeah,
they're 25-1 in the last 26 games. This man has a triple double, and you're gonna claim he's stat padding? I think he's the most unselfish player in the league. The most unselfish player in the league. You know what was stat pad? Russell Westbrook was stat pad.
And that was proven. That's fact. That was fact right there. And OKC was stat pad. He was literally stat pad. You can literally see his big man box everybody out. He'd be the only one to get the rebound. You can literally saw that he was stat pad, that he was actually stat pad.
Yeah, I think
you really saw that. It was evident.
Yeah, I think it's impressive when you do things and it's in the flow of the game, right? Like, you know, you get 50 points. You get, like, for instance, Damian Lillard got 71 points the other game. It was still in the flow of the game. How can you get 71 points in the flow of the game? I can't even explain it, but it was in the flow of the game. It's not like every time he came in the court, he was shooting. You know, it's not like whatever. It just happened that way. He made a lot of shots. He had a really great game, but he still played within the team. It was never more about him scoring 71 and the team winning the game. I think when you can do that, you know, whatever team you play for, whatever players, I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing guys do it, the stats, but also still be a teammate and still be, you know, engulfed in the game and ingrained in helping their team win. So that's one of the things I like about, you know, Jokic. There are several guys that do that as well. I'm not just going to say he's the only one, but I would agree with G. And, you know, it's kind of crazy to say about basketball, but I agree with G.
Listen, you can agree with me about basketball. You be right more often.
See, there he goes again. Gene just
can't help but be bro. Listen, I'm very confident in my opinions, and I
Oh,
watch
as
and
am
I
I,
study.
sir.
I watch and I study a lot.
As
So
am I, sir.
my opinions they come with a sealed stamp of approval.
So I don't need a sealed stamp, but my opinions are, they're a combination of the things that I look for, right? And I do respect that everybody doesn't have the same opinion, right? You don't have to agree with my opinions. I don't have to agree with your opinions. If you can support your opinions, then that's valid to me. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't have to be the same. You support your opinions, that means you've done some research and you have quality opinions. Now, we've had some people that can't really support their opinions. That's a different story for another day. But Anthony says Patrick to the Bulls I didn't like. That was a questionable one for me. Going back to what we're talking about, but hey, I mean that's the decision that was made. They signed him. It is what it is.
Y'all following what's going on in this Nets Celtics game?
Yeah, they blew a 28-point lead, the Celtics.
They were
Yeah.
up 28 points in the second quarter, and they're down 14 points in the fourth. That's
That
a
reminds me
42-point swing. Mikal Bridges is going off.
Him and Cam Johnson normally take turns or sometimes together. Have been going off since they've been there.
Love me some Mikal.
I love me some Cam. He's from UNC, so I'd love to see him get a little shine. Our guys from UNC haven't been doing too well in the league lately, so it's good to see one of them actually get a chance here, be a big part of the team. The Lakers came back on somebody the other night like that. I don't mention the Lakers specifically, but just it came to my mind because it was another game.
That was Dallas.
Yeah,
Dallas was up by like 25.
I wanted to say Dallas, but I was like, I'm not sure. I'm gonna just wait till one of them say it just to make sure I'm right. But yeah, so it happens from time to time. But before we go to other stuff, I have to say a couple of things about Dallas. I think the Mavericks have no defense. Now I say the Phoenix, I'm questioning the defense. They can still prove me wrong. With Dallas, there is no question. Luka Doncic does not want to play defense. Kyrie Irving does not want to play defense. That team, I feel like that's literally, I got to outscore you every night. If I'm going to win a game against you, I have to outscore you. I have no other way to beat you but to outscore
Yeah.
you. And that's not a top 16 to me. And I think they're going to slide on down a little bit more this last 20 or so games. I don't think Kyrie's going to re-sign there. I don't think him and Doncic are a good fit together. I think him coming is going to hurt Doncic in the MVP argument, similar to how some people said James Harden going to the Sixers when he went hurt Embiid. I'm not saying I subscribe to that, but I'm just saying I think that's my thoughts on the Dallas Mavericks. So I don't know if you guys had any other thing you wanted to add, but I just wanted to say that before I forgot about it, about the Dallas Mavericks.
I mean, they can score.
They definitely can score.
I mean, I agree 100% with what you said.
They'll score.
You're talking about a team that's 1-4 off the break, and the only team they beat were the fraudulent ass 76ers.
Heck.
Oh, like it is, man. Can we fire Doc Rivers? Does that get any conversation piece on here?
Hey, have at it, bro. Do your
Doc
thing.
Rivers needs to friggin' get fired. Yo, give me Ime Udoka. He can fucking sleep with our owner's wife. I don't care. Give me Udoka. Call like
so
it
tell
is,
me why, man. Tell me why though.
Yeah, but there's a million reasons why. Number one, you're gonna lose Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid recently said, and I don't know how national news this get because it got swallowed really quick. He said, if things don't change in Philadelphia, I'm going to force my way out of there to a team that understands understands basketball. That's what he said. I'm going to follow that statement up. That was right after the Boston loss. He said the team let their foot off the gas pedal when we got up 17 points versus Boston. That's not how you win basketball games. That's not how you win games. We have to be better. Then they go and lose to Miami.
Yep.
Then they beat Miami without Joel, and then they come back and lose to Dallas. They're 1-3 in their last 4, and then they got to play Milwaukee next. I got news for you, man. Doc Rivers cannot win big games and big series. It's been for years. The only team he ever won with was the big three in Boston that went to the finals, and They were the most talented team in the NBA. You had Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Rajon Rondo, Ray Allen, all in their prime. The most talented team in the NBA. That was one of those teams. That was like a David Blatt Cavaliers team. We got LeBron, so David Blatt's got 50 wins as a head coach. What it is. That's what it is. All the other coaches proved their worth without LeBron. Ty Lue, Mike Brown. Look at them all. Eric Spoelstra. They all proved their worth without LeBron. It's Doc Rivers has not proved his worth without the Clippers team. And it gets put on CP3 way more than it gets put on Doc Rivers.
That's fair.
That's
it is
bullshit.
definitely. It's got to be on Doc, too. That's fair.
By the way, the Maxey statement, he came out the other day and confirmed that Doc Rivers lied about Maxey calling him to tell him to come off the bench. Maxey was told by Doc Rivers that Doc Rivers think it was best for him to come off the bench. Maxey didn't like it, but he bought into it. So that was a lie about what Doc Rivers said. That was a lie. Maxey did not tell him. Maxey did not tell him and text him and say he wanted to come off the bench. That was a lie by Doc Rivers.
Oh, Doc,
you are going to ruin Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey is a young budding superstar, future all-star, and you are going to ruin him. Joel Embiid is going to force his way out of town. Houston's going to have James Harden back on their roster next year. This is what we're talking about. Philadelphia is about to be a poverty franchise again. And it's all because, look, I want to take you back 10 years. Cool. Coach, I don't mean to be a smartass when I say this. And I don't know about your pedigree as an NBA GM. You could not have done worse than what the 76ers did after coming out of the process. Think about it. Think about what the 76ers did. First round draft pick, Nerlens Noel. 6th overall. Michael Carter Williams. Jahlil Okafor. Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid. There you go. You got one.
Got one.
And that was, look, he was the 3rd pick, and it's because he got hurt before the goddamn. They weren't going to get him. Markelle Fultz. And they gave a 1st-round draft pick for the right to draft Markelle Fultz over Jason Tatum. All I need you. What about Thibault?
Oh, man.
Oh, by the way, Thibault's doing better at Portland.
100%. The 76ers have hit on 2 draft picks in 10 years. They overpaid Tobias Harris. They let Jimmy Butler get out of the building. How did you do that? It's impossible. Brian Colangelo. Yo, listen to me. I'm not trying to be smart. Brian Colangelo couldn't have done a better job of screwing this team up if he was absolutely trying. Like, he's like a secret agent for the Boston Celtics or something. He couldn't have did a worse job. And then Elton Brand got in there and was like, I'm just going to pay people. Traded for Butler, traded for Harris, tried to overpay Harris, lost Butler, chose Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler.
That's exactly what happened, yep.
And people don't realize that. They think they chose Harris over Butler. You're sadly mistaken. That's not what happened.
Simmons was the problem.
Correct.
Yep.
And, you know, you want to talk about how bad the 76ers organization is as a whole? That Toronto series, all year, the entire year, I watched the Sixers all year. Ben Simmons was their primary ball handler. The entire year. Game 1 versus Toronto, Brett Brown goes, Jimmy, you're going to be the primary ball handler for the series. Game 1 in round 2 of the playoffs with the most talented roster by far in the playoffs. I can't do it. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't. They make me sick. And I'm a fan, but they make me sick. Doc Rivers' adjustments. Doc Rivers is, his rotations. He still has the all-bench 5 that he throws out there every once in a while. Like, why? You have a 10-person rotation in the NBA? Like, why? You're playing a big game versus Boston, and 10 guys get on the court. It's not basketball. Sorry,
man.
I had to go on my
You
rant.
good?
I mess with Key
Hey.
about that all the time too. It's funny. Like y'all even pass up on Brandon Ingram and De'Aaron.
Yo, listen, I'll tell you right now, there's never been a player in the history of sports that I've despised more than Ben Simmons. Never. In the history of sports. Ever.
Bro, I'm not even a Sixers fan. I can't stand Ben Simmons. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, they can't wait to get rid of him. You had Kyle Anderson calling you out. Who? He said he is what he is. He's a minimum player for the rest of his career until he learns how to shoot.
I detect no lies in that statement.
It's wild, man. People laughed at me when I said he's a poor man's Bruce Bowen. People laughed at me when I said that. Generational talent. He's the next LeBron. He's Magic Johnson. I remember all the statements after year 3 when Ben Simmons still didn't shoot, and they're like, he's Magic. I'm like, Magic learned how to shoot.
He's
He
more
goes,
like tragic.
in the beginning of Magic's career, they used to call him Tragic Johnson. I don't care what they called him. Magic learned how to shoot. I shoot better than Ben Simmons. 100%. I put my life savings on it in a 3-point contest.
I have never seen Coach Dante shoot, right? Never.
Never.
I will confidently say that me and Coach Dante, as well as you, are better shooters than Ben Simmons.
I know for a fact I can shoot better than Ben Simmons. I know for a fact myself. I ain't shot a ball in a while either.
And the reason I know, you want to know how I know? I can say that so confidently, is because all three of us are willing to shoot the ball.
Yep.
So wild. So wild.
And that is very, very, very crazy. But Gene, man, I feel it, bro. Like, sometimes you got to get it out. I feel it, bro. You know, I love to allow the realness to come out here on the top of the key, man. That's what we do. So I'll open this up to Coach Dante and Eugene. Eastern and Western Conference. Which teams do you believe have a true chance to win a championship this year?
I got 4.
I got 5.
Okay.
I got 4. I only got 4.
I don't know how you have 4. You're gonna enlighten me on who you're missing.
Phoenix.
You don't think they have a chance?
I don't know. I don't trust. I just don't trust them. I
You
just
have
don't
to trust him.
Well,
Who's a legitimate title contender?
I don't care. I don't care if they got KD. I just not trusting them at all. They got to show me better. They got to show me. They got to show me. Chris Paul showed that he constantly fails in the playoffs, even though it ain't all his fault. Devin Booker didn't show up last year. Just because they got Kevin Durant, it just don't make me move the needle at all until I'm shown that they can get to the championship round. So to that, I'm not really sold up on that part on that side. I'm gonna only go with Golden State, and I'm gonna only go with Denver. In the West, in the Eastern Conference, is Milwaukee and Boston. That's just it.
I mean, you know my 5.
I know your 5.
I got those 4 in Phoenix, and I think Phoenix is. If you asked me, and I'm not trying to be a smart ass when I say this, I'll take Phoenix and Boston, and you can have the rest of the league. And I'll bet you whatever you want to bet. I'll take Phoenix and Boston, and you can have the rest of the league, and I'll bet you whatever you want to bet. They're my 2 favorites to win it, to play for the title.
I mean, those are the 5 teams. I mean, I don't really trust Phoenix myself, but I'd at least say, you could put them in there. I wouldn't really argue. You leave them out, I'm not mad either. But yeah, I don't really think there's anybody else. Just curious if I thought maybe there was, some other team that, could have a possibility. So pretty consistent on that. So, gentlemen, the next thing I want to ask, and I got the matchups, assuming 1 through 8. So obviously we're gonna leave the play in out of this one. We're just gonna assume 1 through 8. If the series were being played today, who would win the series? And I'll give you the series in case you're not looking at the standings. So in the Eastern Conference, it would be the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Atlanta Hawks.
Milwaukee and sweep.
All right.
Oh, Milwaukee, sweet.
Yeah, I'm with y'all 100% on that. And it would be the Boston Celtics against the Miami Heat.
Boston and 6.
Boston in 5.
I'm gonna go with Coach Boston at 5. Philadelphia 76ers would be playing the Brooklyn Nets.
Philly and
That's
4.
sweet. That's sweet. Philly.
Yeah, I definitely say sweep on that, but like easily. Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks.
Cavs in 5.
New York Knicks is. I'm gonna go Cavs in 6.
I'm gonna go Knicks in 7.
I wanted to go that route, but I just went lean on towards Donovan Mitchell in his playoffs.
Yeah, I feel, but I'm gonna go Knicks in 7.
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at not arguing for that.
All right, so in the Western Conference, we'd have the Denver Nuggets against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5.
I agree with that. Memphis Grizzlies against the LA Clippers.
Grizzlies in 5.
Grizzlies in 6.
I'm definitely gonna go Grizzlies. I'd say probably 6. Yeah. Sacramento Kings versus the Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas in 7.
It's tough right here. Dallas and I'm gonna go Dallas in 6.
I'm gonna go Dallas in 7 with Gene on that one. But I think the simple thing is we all agree who will win that matchup.
I'm going the over in all 7.
Okay.
They're the 2 highest scoring teams in the league right now. Sacramento's the highest scoring offense in the history of NBA right now.
And then we got, of course, the matchup Gene alluded to earlier: Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors.
That'd be a nightmare for the league. Give me Phoenix in 7.
We go to State in 7.
Yeah, I would go Golden State in 7 myself as well.
That would be a nightmare for the NBA.
Yes, that'd be tough.
It would be a good first round matchup, though.
Be a good second round matchup, a good third round matchup.
Matchups, Western matchup.
It'd be a good playing game. It'd be a good anything, right?
You want to continue this?
Sure.
So, I remember who I picked, so it's very easy, and I think we took all 4 favorites.
We pretty much
split on the Phoenix, Golden State, and you got the Knicks instead of the Cavs. But they're both 4 or 5 games. That still doesn't change any of the matchups.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So go ahead, continue it.
All right, let me pull the joints back up here. All right, so that would be the Bucks. I don't remember who I had with Bucks.
That's Bucks Knicks. You picked the Knicks.
Yeah, Bucks Knicks. Yeah. So I would have Bucks Knicks.
And we would both have Bucks Cavs. And I have Bucks.
So we'll do Bucks Cavs because y'all both had Bucks Cavs.
No, we can do both. You just pick your Knicks. You're gonna pick the Bucks. The only way this would change is if you pick the Knicks.
Bucks either way. Yeah, I was gonna pick
all right, so I got Bucks in 6 over Cavs.
Go over the Cavs. Got Bucks in 5.
Yeah, I got Bucks in I'll probably say 6 over the Knicks. And then we would have the Celtics would be playing the 76ers.
Celtics in 5, second round exit again.
I'm going Celtics in 6.
I'm gonna go Celtics in 6 as well.
It's the truth.
You might be right, but I'll give y'all 2.
It's the way you
They're
say
the
it.
higher seed that win both games in Boston. Philly takes game 3 in Philadelphia. Philly loses game 4, blowing a 7-point lead with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. They go down 3-1 and they get blown the fuck out game 5 in Boston. I could write the script of the series. I've seen it already. 2 years in a row. I'll write the whole script for you. They lose 2 close games at Boston by 7 and 6. They win game 3. They're up 7 points with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in game 4, and they lose. They find a way to lose the game, and then they get stomped up in Boston in game 5 because they don't show up. I could write the script.
Amen.
If that happened, would you be surprised at all? Exactly what I
Hell no, hell no. I wouldn't be
I wouldn't be
surprised.
surprised. No,
at all.
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be, honestly. All right, so then we got the Nuggets in this scenario playing.
I'm taking the Suns. You two are taking the Warriors because I'm changing. I'm going opposite of you two. Well, maybe not.
Okay.
I think coach is going to go Warriors, but that's just my opinion. We'll see.
So Nuggets and you got Suns.
Mm-hmm.
So you got win between Nuggets and the Suns.
I got the Suns in 6.
All right. And coach, who you got between the Nuggets and the Warriors?
Nuggets in 7.
I have the Nuggets
Ooh.
as well.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
I think with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter is going to make a difference. I think it's going to make a difference. They will really make a difference with that healthy team this time. I think it'll be a better series.
And then we had the Grizzlies and Clippers, right?
No, I didn't.
No, I don't think.
We did because the Clippers are playing the Kings, right?
Yeah, Clippers were playing the Kings. So
we got the Clippers. I'll take the Grizzlies in 6.
I'll take the Grizzlies in 6.
Yeah, me too. Grizzlies in 6. So for Gene, we have the Grizzlies
and Suns.
I'll
take the Suns in 5.
All right, and for Coach, we have the Nuggets and the Grizzlies.
I got the Nuggets in 6 games.
I do as well. So we got the Nuggets and Grizzlies for us, and then the Suns and
No, you got the Nuggets in the finals.
No, yeah,
the
Nuggets.
Suns in
Yes,
the finals.
Right.
Then let's go to the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I'm tripping. All right, so we got the Bucks and the Celtics.
Boston in 6.
Boston in 7.
Bucks in 6.
And then you got this. I got the Suns, Boston. I'll go Suns in 6.
I'm going with Boston in 7 in the NBA Finals.
I'm going Nuggets in 7 in the NBA Finals.
I don't sound like you believe that shit.
That's the toughest matchup for them. The Bucks is the toughest matchup for the Nuggets. I feel like, but I think they'll pull it out. I was debating if I want to go 6 or 7. I'm gonna say 7 because the Bucks will be a hard team to beat. Honestly, like you said, any of the top 2 teams in the East are going to be a difficult team to beat. And then Nuggets, Suns, or Warriors, because that's the teams that we've all identified as teams that would, have the possibility, would be hard to beat out of the West. Then you get that matchup, whether it's the Suns, whether it's the Nuggets, against the Bucks or the Celtics. That's tough to pick. But yeah, that's where I would go. I would go Bucks, Nuggets in the finals with the Nuggets winning in 7, and Gene eating a big pile of crow.
Yep.
All right. So this question kind of has been answered already, possibly, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask it anyway. Who are you guys at this point? Who is you guys coach of the year?
Mike Brown for me, Sacramento.
Mike Malone.
All right, coach, who you got?
Mike Brown, Sacramento. This team is on an 18-year playoff drought. so far was the longest playoff drought in the NBA. They haven't made the playoffs since it is 2000. It's 2023. They haven't made the playoffs since 2005. That was the Kings' last playoff appearance. And for this team to make the NBA playoffs, they can lose the first round. This will be a successful season for the Sacramento Kings this year. But Mike Brown coming over there from a championship winning organization and Golden State and coming over here turning this Sacramento Kings team into a playoff team with the rookie Keegan Murray, who's been outstanding as a rookie. You have De'Aaron Fox, who took his game up to another level. Malik Monk coming off the bench. Terrence Davis coming off the bench, able to provide some scoring. Harrison Barnes around his 15 points, 16 points per game. And Kevin Herter from getting him over there from the Atlanta Hawks to Sacramento, that's a very big leap. So Mike Brown with this team deserves the coach of the year for me.
Listen, Mike Brown deserves it. Mike Malone should win it. I think Mike Malone, what he's doing with running away with the West, like what? All right, so if Mike Malone doesn't win Coach of the Year, what can you do to win Coach of the Year at that point? Like, you just might as well say it's impossible for him to win it because he's running away with the West, and he's the most underrated coach, underappreciated coach in basketball. 4 years ago, I said Mike Malone was top 5 coach in the NBA. I said Mike Malone and Quinn Snyder, the 2 most underrated coaches in basketball. Remember that series, Denver versus Utah? That series, the incredible series where Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell were just going at each other. That was some great basketball. And right then and there, watching that series, I'm like, these 2 coaches know how to coach basketball. I'll give you one more thing, right?
Yep.
What Mike Malone did to Doc Rivers in the bubble, down 3-1, should be illegal.
Okay.
He abused that man.
He did.
They had no answer.
I can't believe I'm saying this. And if you watch me talk basketball, you know how I feel about this coach. It's not Malone, though I don't disagree with you. But I gotta say it's Mike Budenholzer. This even hurts me to say, but this is why I say Mike Budenholzer. And I don't disagree with either one of the 2 guys you said, but you have this great winning streak going on, right? You started the season with Giannis banged up, Chris Middleton out of the lineup. You still had this team as a top 2, top 3 team the entirety of this season, right? You've weathered some storms, different guys. You got some other pieces that you've been able to bring in to kind of fit into the rotation. And I don't know what's happened, but I feel like he's actually doing a good job coaching the team this year, which has been a big, turn off for me, his coaching in years past. He's made the kind of the right adjustments. He's using his stars correctly. He's not putting like a minutes restriction on anybody but Middleton. He's kind of just having them play. When they're playing well, he's letting them do their thing. He's not pulling anybody back. He's not making just moves to make moves or switches to make switches. He's just letting them go out and play basketball. And they're playing really well.
Yep, he definitely deserve it. No argument out of me for that.
But I would agree with
neither one is
you guys.
Neither one is good.
I am a Budenholzer hater. I do not give him credit for what Giannis does on that team. I don't.
And it's fine, man.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Cool,
I'm not a big fan of Budenholzer myself.
Cool. You watch basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's their primary set that they run?
Get a ball to Giannis. Or Drew
No,
Holiday
I'm serious.
shoot.
Like, what is their
Or Drew
primary
Holiday
set?
shoot a J. Get a ball to Giannis or Drew Holiday shoot a J.
I watch that team play and it doesn't scream great basketball team. It screams I have the most dominant player in the NBA knows how to get others involved and can dominate.
But see, even when he doesn't play, because he's missed games and they've still played well, right? Even when he doesn't play, they still play a good brand of team basketball. So, I would never disagree with you saying that having Giannis makes it a lot easier to coach the team. But I think what he's able to do when Giannis is off the floor, when Giannis is hurt, when other pieces are missing. Those are the reasons why I say I think he would deserve it this year, as of now. Now he's got 20 games to blow it. I'm not saying that he won't, but I'm saying as of today, I would give him the nod.
Okay.
But everything you said is not wrong, sir. I don't disagree with it.
I watched them play basketball so much. Milwaukee's always nationally televised. I watch a
They
ton
are.
of Milwaukee basketball.
And I got NBA. I got the NBA League Pass, so I get to watch a lot
I
of their
got all
games,
that
a
shit.
lot of Denver.
I got that. I
Yeah.
got that.
I
Oh,
get to watch a lot of all their games. So I mean, I'm not saying that having him doesn't help, right? But I'm gonna give it to him this year. I don't really. It's against my nature, but I'm gonna give it to him
Okay.
just because I've been impressed by what he's done. So the last topic that I have, of course, maybe Gene will bless us with one of those Gene topics here at the end.
I got one.
Is the top 5 rookie of the year candidates by you guys. Thoughts?
Pablo, Benedict Mathurin, Keegan Murray. How many I said? 3. AJ Griffin. One more guy out there. One more. Walker Kessler from Utah.
I put Jaden Ivey over Kessler.
Oh yeah, my bad. I forgot
But
about him. Jaden Ivey.
But I take your other.
Jaden Ivey. That was one. I knew I was forgetting somebody, but Jaden Ivey is one of them.
Do I have to give 5?
If you don't have 5, you don't have to give 5.
Well, I don't think Keegan Murray. I don't think that. I definitely don't think Jabari Smith. I don't think any of those guys deserve to be in the same conversation as the people that are at the top.
No, I ain't put Jabari Smith at the top of Keegan Murray.
I know,
definitely
but
be
like
the top
I'm just
one.
like I look at the odds just because I
Okay.
want to see what like the NBA.com or like FanDuel thinks of what the odds are, and I'm looking at the odds of the top 5 players, and I just don't like. So before the season started, I gave you a list of 3 players,
Mm-hmm.
and I said Paolo Banchero is the best player in this draft.
Yes, I said it too.
Benedict Mathurin and Jaden Ivey are the next 2.
Yeah.
And I meant that shit when I said that earlier in the year. I said it before.
Same thing. I had the same thing. Literally the same thing.
I just think that those are the 3 people, and then you can add Walker Kessler in there as the 4th. And I guess, I mean, if we're pulling teeth to get 11 points a game, Keegan Murray in there, we can do that.
Nah, but he been doing it on more efficiency. So he's literally helping out a playoff team. Jabari Smith don't even deserve to be on the list. He has been bad this year. Really.
I said
Keegan Murray now.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I think Jabari Smith is a bust. I said it when I watched him play at Auburn. I said it when I watched him play in the tournament. That guy has quit in him. He has quit in him, and I can't stand it. He's got a loser's mentality. I've seen it from him last year in college, in the SEC tournament, to the NCAA tournament, when he was just straight up embarrassed on that court. And I've watched it all year, and I think Jabari Smith's ceiling is a role player.
I think his ceiling's more of a 3 and D power forward. I'm not gonna call him a bust yet. After his 1 year.
I just projected him to be a bust before the season. So why not continue my projection that I've had? And he's shown me nothing to say he was not a bust, right? Like I get like calling somebody a bust. Like I feel like I could be proven wrong on Jabari Smith. He has all the talent in the world. Here, I'll give you someone I was absolutely right on. I'll give you somebody I was absolutely wrong on. You guys remember when Alex Lynn got drafted 5th overall?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I seen that. I even seen that buzz coming from a mile away.
He's going to, the most times you will hear Alex Lynn's name talked about is tonight at the draft. Because he is a nobody. Here's someone that was wrong on. Dead wrong on. Anthony Edwards. I said I don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got the drive to be a great basketball player.
Yeah, worst questions about him, entering the draft and everything. and some comments that he said that kind of I think got taken out of context and
But I
everything.
mean,
But
Anthony
yeah,
Edwards was literally Georgia though. He was literally the best player on the team. So I didn't really knock him coming out of the draft, because Georgia was trash. They're a trash basketball team, and he's the reason. I know his lack of basketball ability. People had to say something about him. Will he be a better efficient scorer or something like that going into the NBA? But that's a lack of teammates that he did have. That's a lack of teammates that he did had in Georgia against Georgia. He didn't have nothing, literally nothing around him. So yeah, I see what was said, but I also thought he can be fine. He can be fine coming out of the draft because of lack of teammates he had at Georgia. Georgia was a horrible team. It was just a horrible team.
I agree with you.
yeah, no lies there. All right, so Gene, I know you got your genius question of the week for us.
I want to say it's not a question. I want to say one more thing before we get off this topic of rookies.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the fourth best rookie in this class. I gave you 3 before the season started. And the fourth best rookie is not on any of your lists. I don't think he's on any of your top 10 lists. But I've watched the kid play. He's super young. I think that Malachi Branham will be the fourth best rookie coming out of this class in the next 5-10 years. So just kind of want to add that.
I don't disagree with that, but I think some guys hit early. Some guys need a little bit more time. That doesn't mean they're not good. But I think right now he's not there yet.
He is so young.
Yeah,
I think he might be the youngest player in the league.
And that's an important piece. Just get a little bit more season. It's going to help out a lot.
Malachi is still 19.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my topic, and I just wanted to bring this up because, and I know this is an NBA show, and this is not an NBA topic. But if you're not taking some time tomorrow to get prepared for March Madness and watching some college basketball tomorrow, I don't know what you're doing. I got 4 games for you that I will be keeping my eyes on the entire day. I got a 12 o'clocker, I got a 4 o'clocker, I got a 7:30, and I got a 10. It just lines up perfectly for you. 12 o'clock. Alabama is going into Texas A&M tomorrow. That is going to be a game.
That's going to be a game. Texas A&M is a good basketball team.
It is going to be a good game. I agree.
It's a good basketball team.
Be ready for that game. That will be a game. Second on the agenda, this game might be the game of the day. Give me Kansas at Texas. That is going to be a war. Kansas wins that game, they win the Big 12 outright. If Texas wins that game, then it's split. Texas is a 3-point favorite over number 3 Kansas. Fourth game of the day. Call me a little homerish, but there's not a team that's playing better the last week and a team that you do not want to see in the NCAA tournament than my Villanova Wildcats. They are playing UConn in Villanova after just decimating Creighton last week. I mean, absolutely putting it to Creighton last week. Villanova's got their best player back, Justin Moore, after the Achilles injury he had last year. He's back. They got Cam Whitmore. Their team is a team you do not want to see sneak into the tournament. And if Villanova sneaks into the tournament, they will win a game or 2.
Yep.
And last but finally not least, the 10:30 game, late night game. You got Arizona at UCLA. I don't know how I'll be watching the UFC fight, and I'll have that game on in the corner because I don't know how you can miss that game. UCLA is playing some great basketball. If they win this game and they go at least to the semifinals or the finals of the Pac-12 tournament, they are going to solidify a 1 seed for UCLA. Arizona can jump right back in that 1 seed conversation by beating UCLA and doing the exact same thing I just talked about for UCLA. These are great basketball games. Wow.
Arizona is gonna be a pretty tough matchup for UCLA. They got one of the top shooting guys in the country, Cole Creason, and Tuvelis is a good center for Arizona. That dude is a good center. That dude is a solid center.
that was my topic. Cool.
Gene,
Did I disappoint?
I'm gonna say this to you. Okay. Talk about a game at 6:30, 7 o'clock that you're going to be watching. You can watch Villanova. That's cool. Do you want to know who everybody else gonna be watching?
UNC Duke.
Yes, sir.
Look, I don't think that's a basketball game. I think UNC runs them off the court. I think UNC starting to hit their groove, and I'm telling you right now, I think they can win the national championship.
So here's the thing. I'm a homer, okay? So I'm saying like this when it comes to college basketball. I am what you would call a homer, and I openly admit that. I don't have a year that we're in a tournament that I don't think we right, but I am curious to see them actually step onto the floor and put a good game together against what at this time would be their second quadrant one victory of the whole season, and is much needed in the argument to get into the tournament if they don't win the ACC tournament. I would agree with you. I mean, I've said from the beginning of the season, I thought this was the most talented team in college basketball, but they have not played like it.
I agree.
Yep.
They're the most disappointing team by far in college basketball up until this point. But let's be real.
Agreed.
They find a way into the tournament. They win the tournament. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah, but since their game versus Notre Dame, they beat Notre Dame. They beat down Virginia. That game was not as close as the score looked. They beat Florida State, and I think they're going to beat the dog shit out of Duke tomorrow. That game's 3.5. I put $500 on North Carolina to cover that 3.5. I would.
I hope so, man. But this is when I say this is a rivalry. This is a rivalry.
Yeah, but
'Cause
these
you
ain't
think
your
about it.
daddy's Dukies, bro.
They're not. I agree.
It's
But at the
Jeremy
same
Roach
time-
and a bunch of white boys. I hate saying it that way, but it's the truth. I can't say that shit. My bad.
You can say I can't say it, but you can. You know what I'm saying? But I think they always are going to play good against each other, right? It's always going to be more than likely top games unless one is just way like leaps and bounds above the other. It's a spectacle. You know what I'm saying? It's. I've been looking forward to this game all season because if we can't make the tournament, at least go out beating Duke like we did last year. Beat them last year, the last game of the season, Coach K's final game, then put them out of the tournament. Coach K's final game ever as a coach.
If y'all let Philip Kowski beat y'all tomorrow night, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
I know what to tell us. The NIT is going to be looking real number one-ish. That's what to tell us, sir.
I would opt out. If I was all North Carolina players, I wouldn't play in the NIT.
I'm not saying that they would
I
accept
would
it.
opt out.
I'm not saying that they would accept it, but I'm saying that would be the only way you will continue if you lose this game tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying?
I think North Carolina dominates that game. I really believe that. They've been playing better basketball. They have a deep team. I don't know who on Duke can handle Armando Bacot at all. Caleb Love is starting to look like the Caleb Love last year's tournament.
Or Pete Nance. Nobody can really handle Pete Nance. They got either.
Tell me how they lose that game tomorrow. How? Like what way?
That mess that they was doing when they played them last time in the first half of the season. Go out there and play dysfunctional basketball. Caleb Love forget that he has teammates.
And start jacking up shots, uncharacteristic shots. He's been doing that all year.
Yep.
Shoot 38% from the floor alone.
Because I'll say this is the truth. This is 100%, 1,000% the truth. We don't have a starting point guard. We are the LA Clippers of NCAA basketball. Caleb Love is not a natural point guard. RJ Davis is a combo guard. We don't really put a traditional point guard on that floor. So if you can get Caleb Love in the groove of shooting early and he gets the thought in his mind he needs to put up 30, 40 points in the game, RJ Davis is getting the ball like he needs to get it as well because he's more of the facilitator. If they don't play Carolina basketball the way they need to, they could lose this game. Now, you do make the point that they have played good the last 3 games. They have. But that Florida State game was not a pretty game. I watched that game, and I got to tell you, that's one of the ugliest wins I've seen in a long time. They did win the game, but I was not impressed. So hopefully they got that last stank game out. But yeah, I mean, there's ways they could lose. Trust me. A couple of bad shots, a couple of turnovers. The wrong guys go to the free throw line. It can happen. I hope it doesn't, but it could happen.
I won't be watching.
Hey, I'll put in the chat for you, G. I'll keep you updated in the chat. I got you.
If it's close coming down the stretch, I'll watch it during Villanova's halftime. I gotta watch Villanova, bro. Villanova's.
I will watch, and I will watch after our game's over. I'll turn to your Villanova UConn game and watch that too.
Villanova is playing very good basketball right now.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, you do not want to see that team in the tournament. You do not
want to see UNC either. If they can get in. That's if they can get in.
Bro. Villanova's got that leadership too. They got so much, man. I feel like, oh man, you'll see.
I've seen them play.
UNC, if UNC enters in the tournament, they will be probably the best low seed in the tournament. Yeah. NCAA tournament, they will be the best low seed in the tournament.
If they don't make it, they're infamous for being the only preseason number 1 team to never make the NCAA tournament.
So when you look at Villanova, right, you got a senior guard in Caleb Daniels. You got a senior guard in Justin Moore. You got Eric Dixon, who's been balling out, and a lottery pick in Cam Whitmer. Is that the team you want to see in the first round if you're anyone?
Yeah,
and you know what that team was missing? You said it perfectly, Cool. You know what North Carolina's missing this year? A point guard. Yeah. You know what Villanova was missing the whole year? A point guard. Justin Moore was recovering from
the Achilles injury that he suffered in the tournament late in the tournament.
So watch when Seth Trimble comes in the game. Watch how different UNC runs the offense when Seth Trimble comes in.
Okay.
I honestly
UConn's a very good basketball team. UConn's still they're favored by 2 at Villanova, but I'm calling the upset tomorrow. I think Villanova spanks them.
I think Trimble needs to play more minutes tomorrow. I think you've got to find a way to get him some minutes with either one of the other guards, because we have a lot better flow of the offense because he is a true point guard, but he doesn't start. But it's a basketball show. We still talking basketball. So, hey.
You know, the funny thing is this. I had this conversation with Cottrell and Bill on the show. And I said, this is the only year I think I would take this bet. But I'll give anyone who wants it every top 3 seed in each bracket. And I'll take everyone else. I'll take the 4 through 16. And I'll take the field. And I'll take it in every bracket. And I'll take it to win the national championship.
I'm going to tell y'all now, as I had just said a few minutes ago, I am an extreme college basketball homer. If UNC makes that tournament, they are going to be my champion. Period. Now, how I build everybody else around them is whatever happens. But I guarantee you, UNC will be in a championship game and win it.
Tennessee just lost their starting point guard for the year.
Yeah.
It's a big loss, man.
Mm-hmm. When you lose your point guard, man, people don't understand, especially in college. 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, that's your guy. I don't care if he's a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, whatever he is. He's your spark plug.
Yep.
And if you have an engine without a spark plug, you got a problem. Or you got a burnt out spark plug, you got a problem. And that's what those point guards are. I mean, they matter so much in college basketball because there's times where you just need them to take over, calm the team down, and be a coach on the floor. You don't really need that when you get to the NBA level because whoever's the star is the guy, right? It's more positionless basketball when you get to the NBA. But in college, you get down, you get pressed, you need a big play, you need a really smart play that's executed. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be. Your point guard's bringing that ball down and he's executing that offense. And that's important. So when you don't have that, and believe me, I'm saying this from the heart, when you don't have that, it makes a difference. And you have to hope. You have to look at it and say, please make the right play. A lot of times, about 50% of the time, those other dudes don't. Gentlemen, that you guys have any other thoughts Anything else you'd like to discuss before we close up the top of the key for the evening?
Well, again, I want to discuss. Say thank you for bringing me on here, Gene. Always, but ladies basketball, ladies NCAA basketball heating up. They're already in conference championship play, and Uh, we got a big game coming up with that you was just talking about on the show between Stanford and UCLA. Stanford got probably the best 1-2 punch guard to center combination. Cameron Brick and Haley Jones. Haley Jones, I love her. She's really, really good. And you got Kiki Rice on the other side of the UCLA side. That's going to be a very, really good matchup. And Caitlin Clark is always fun to watch. If you ain't watched Caitlin Clark yet, I'm telling you, you better go watch this girl. This girl may be the Steph Curry of NCAA basketball. The way she shoots, but she does more. She gets rebounds, assists. She damn near average a triple double in women's college basketball. That girl is really good, and she got another year in women's college basketball. So it's going to be some also good girls college basketball played as well. Just want to throw that out there.
Love it. I am chomping at the bit to turn on the ESPN and watch Nuggets versus Memphis Grizzlies right now. So I got no more final comments.
I'm getting ready to do the same, sir. Yes, sir. I just appreciate you guys hopping on, man. Thanks everybody that watch, everybody that sees the replay. We're here, we're talking basketball. Come join us. It's gonna be a good time. You're always gonna get some good solid information. You're gonna get a little homeristic opinions every once in a while, but hey, if you can't be a little homeristic, man, what are you a fan for? That's all I can say. So appreciate you guys, and out. See you guys next week.